Good morning friends. How are you? Might be safe at home? Stay home, stay safe. Today we will start our next unit. First unit we have already completed. From this unit, today we will start our new lesson, that is principle of inheritance and variation. In this online session, today we will discuss few topics that they are very basic in these lessons. The topics are inheritance, genetics, heredity and variation, reason for choosing garden pea plant by Mendel for his experiment, 7 pair of contrasting trait in pea plants, terms used in cross, true breeding, inheritance of one gene, that is monohybrid cross, and last test cross. First topic is inheritance. It is not a new concept for you. In class 10th, you have already studied it. Inheritance is the transfer of character from parents to offspring. Genes are the basic units of inheritance. One gene is responsible for expressing different characters, or number of gene expresses one character. Here are few hereditary characters like attached earlobe and rolling of tongue. Our second topic is genetics. So, what is genetics? It is the branch of biology that deals with the study of inheritance and variations of character from parent to offspring. Mendel was the first to study genetics, so he is called father of genetics. First he studied, so he is called as father of genetics. Here it is the picture of Gregor Mendel. Now we will study about heredity and variation. So what is heredity? It is the transfer of character from parent to offspring, and inheritance is the basis of heredity. And variations is the differences between the characters or traits among individual of same species. The species must be same. Variations may lead to evolution and origin of new species. This is the figure of molluscan species showing variations. Now we will see about the fact that why Mendel chosen garden pea, that is Pisum sativum, for his experiment, and this is very important, always it is asked in exam. There are different reasons, we will discuss one by one. First is the pea plants are hermaphrodite, that is bisexual, also called as monoecious, means both the male and female parts are present in single flower. Second is flowers are self pollinated. This helps them to obtain constant trait, that is pure line. In pea plant, cross pollination can be easily achieved. It is easy to hybridize, that is cross breeding, artificially hybridization. Plants are easy to cultivate and is annually. Annually means it require only one season to complete its life cycle. Next topic we will see is 7 pair of contrasting traits or characters. First is tall and dwarf plant. It is due to stem height, where tall is dominant, denoted by capital T, and dwarf is recessive, denoted by small t. Second trait is round and wrinkle seeds. Here round is dominant denoted by capital R and wrinkled is recessive denoted by small r. Third is yellow and green seed color. Yellow seed color is yellow seed color is dominant, whereas green seed color is recessive denoted by capital Y and a small y respectively. Next is green and yellow pod color. Here green pod color is dominant denoted by capital G and yellow pod color is recessive denoted by small g. Another contrasting trait is inflated and constricted pod shape, in which inflated is dominant denoted by capital I and constricted is recessive denoted by small I. Next is axial and terminal flower, where axial is dominant denoted by capital A and terminal is recessive denoted by small a. And last one is violet or purple and white flower. Here violet or purple is dominant denoted by either capital V or capital P. Whereas white color is recessive denoted by small v or small p. Thus, we have seen the 7 pair of contrasting traits. This figure indicates about dominant and recessive traits of in different, that is shape of seeds, color of seeds, color of pods, shape of pods, plant height, position of flower and flower color. Now we will see few terminology used in the cross. First is homozygous. Homozygous means a particular gene that has identical alleles on both homologous chromosomes. It is represented by 2 capital letters for a dominant trait and 2 small letters for a recessive trait. Here you will see that capital T for dominant homozygous and a small t for dwarf. Second term is heterozygous. It means one of each allele, that is one dominant and one recessive. Another term is genotype. Genotype means genetic constitution of an individual or organism. Next is phenotype, means morphological characters, that is tall, dwarf, round, wrinkle, etc. Another important term is dominant. Dominant trait always expressed in F1 generation, that is first filial generation. We will see this in crosses. Next is recessive. Recessive trait always hidden or suppressed in F1 generation but expressed in further generation. Now we will study about true breeding. When pure line characters are obtained for several generations due to self pollination, then it is called as true breeding. It may be dominant or recessive. True breeding may be dominant or recessive. So, Mendel selected 14 true breeding pea plants. Why? Because 7 pair of contrasting character. So, 7 multiplied by 2, that is 14 true breeding pea plants. For example, true breeding tall plant and true breeding short plant. They are also called as homozygous. In this figure, it is shown about the cross of homozygous plant, that is true breeding plant. Okay friends, now we will study about monohybrid cross, that is inheritance of one gene. This also you have studied in 10th class. In this case, one pair of contrasting trait is considered and crossed together. If this type of cross is done, then in F1 generation only one trait or one character is obtained, that is dominant character. And in F2 generation, both dominant and recessive traits are obtained in a ratio of 3:1 in F2 generation, but the ratio of pure tall, hybrid tall and pure dwarf is in the ratio of 1:2:1. So, here two types of ratio be obtained. One is phenotype ratio, another is genotype ratio. Phenotype means morphological characters and genotype means genetic constitution. So, phenotype ratio of monohybrid cross is 3:1, whereas genotypic ratio of monohybrid cross is 1:2:1. This figure clearly shows that how crosses between pure tall and pure dwarf plant is done to get different ratio in phenotypic and genotypic expression. This is also about monohybrid cross with yellow and green seeds. Now, last topic of today's session is about test cross. It is the cross in which dominant phenotype of unknown genotype is crossed with recessive parent instead of self crossing. Test cross is done to test the heterozygosity. Here the dominant phenotype may be homozygous or may be heterozygous. If homozygous dominant phenotype is crossed with recessive plant, then in F1 generation all are having dominant phenotype, that is 100%. But when heterozygous dominant phenotype is crossed with recessive parent, then the ratio of dominant and recessive phenotype is 50:50, that is 1:1. The given figure shows the two types of test crosses. It is also about the test cross. Try to identify here what will be the genotype in place of question mark. In figure you will observe that there is question mark at two places. So, you will find out the genotype of two question mark places here. This is all about today's lesson. Tomorrow again I will come back with new topic. Thank you. Have a lovely and nice day. For any kind of doubts, please write your questions in the comment section. Thanks.